Okay, so earlier today at around 2:15 this afternoon, officers were dispatched to 256 Sherman Avenue. The call came in as a female asking for help, that her husband had locked her in a room, taken her phone, had a pistol, and had threatened to sodomize her. The officers responded to the location, and upon arrival, they found the suspect in the kitchen area. The suspect was acting in a very agitated manner. They gave him repeated verbal commands to come out of the house because he had his back flush against the wall, and so there really wasn't any room to negotiate. The subject was unwilling to come out of the kitchen area. The officers went in an attempt to get him into custody. What can best be described as a level of grappling occurred. The officers were trying to get handcuffs on him. He was very combative, very resistant. The officers ended up getting one handcuff on him, but he had a concealed weapon on him, and they didn't see it, obviously. Next thing you should know, gunshots rang out. An officer was shot multiple times, and fellow officers returned fire. The officers on scene did an excellent job rendering aid. I cannot say enough about their training, how it kicked in, and how they responded. Both the officer and the defendant were transported to the hospital, where they both are recovering from their gunshot wounds. The officer was hit several times and is best listed in stable condition. I believe his surgery will be scheduled for tomorrow. And the suspect was still in surgery when I last checked in. We are in the process of securing warrants to search the house where this incident occurred. I cannot say enough thanks to our fellow law enforcement partners, the FBI, ATF, State Patrol, and Sheriff's Office. They immediately stepped in, offered us assistance, and I am extremely grateful for that, and also for the thoughts and prayers that the community put forward. It means a lot. It means a lot. One of my jobs as commissioner is to help the community understand that every day men and women face these split-second decisions, and things seem to be going right, and they can go south so quickly. And I'm so grateful at the end of the day that I'm not attending another officer's funeral. So I don't know if there's any questions. I'm limited on the information that I have beyond what I've given you. We will obviously be doing a much broader investigation, and we'll release whatever we have as we get it.
Commissioner, you mentioned officers found the suspect in the kitchen. Can you kind of walk us through how did they get into the house? Was it a fourth entry?
So the house, no, it looks like family members opened the door, and it was somewhat of a language barrier, so I'm not entirely sure what I believe would be the father was saying, but they clearly wanted the police to come in and address what was occurring with their son. He was just doing a lot of yelling. As for the female, she was in a back room. She wasn't in the picture. But that is, no, they were invited in by, I'm assuming it's his parents.
So this all happened inside the house?
Inside the house, and it was very tight quarters. Once you got in, it's an older house, and once you get in, there's a very narrow hallway, and then the kitchen is fairly small. And he was in the far corner of the kitchen, so there wasn't a door, an exit door that was readily available for anybody. So the officers walked to the back of the kitchen area and just were attempting. They did have one handcuff on him, and it appeared as though they were going to get the other handcuff on successfully. And then you heard an officer yell out "gun" and shots fired out.
Do you know where exactly the officer and the suspect were shot, body-wise?
I do not know all the particulars. I do know that the officer, as for the suspect, I do not know where he was hit. For the officer, he definitely was hit in the legs and the shoulder and arm area.
And it sounds like she's going to be okay?
Yes, I managed to see him. He was in a great deal of discomfort. He's got surgery before him, but he was alert and speaking, so we're very grateful for that.
Did he say anything?
He didn't appreciate me patting his shoulder because it would have been where he was shot. And so I think he said, "Commissioner, can we just smile at each other?" I said, "That's fine."
You mentioned multiple shots. Can you tell us a little bit just about the officer, seasoned veteran, newer to the force? I mean, what details can you share at this time about the officer?
He's been out here for a period of time, and I believe he's going to be going into his 9th year of policing, and everybody just said he is the nicest guy and has nothing bad to say about anyone, is constantly upbeat. So there was a lot of emotion around him as an individual.
You mentioned surgery tomorrow for this officer. Kind of walk us through what's happening now before that surgery.
Right, so right now, the primary thing that's going on is the investigators are getting a search warrant for the house and will be processing the scene for many hours, I would imagine. And there was also some, we're following up on some comments that were about other guns that the subject may have owned, so we also want to ensure that we get our hands on those as well.
We're hearing something about that there was an initial call about a domestic and then more information about a gun. Was that just obtained at the house?
No, the call came in, it was updated, but in a close amount of time, it was that the female, that her husband was not letting her leave, he'd taken her cell phone, that he had a gun, that he'd attempted to sodomize her. So it was kind of, the information, she was calling, if I understand, the way the CADS reads, the call information log, is she was calling while locked in the, I don't know how she got through now that you say that, but she was saying that there was a gun and that she could not get out, and unfortunately she was right about the gun.
You mentioned there was a language barrier, obviously, at the scene. What can you tell us about the suspect? Anything? Are they?
I don't know. I don't have any information on him. All I can say is the individuals who answered the door were communicating something, and I'm not entirely certain what they were saying, but it was very clear that they wanted the officers to come into the house.
Give us an estimate as how long did this whole incident unfold?
I think 1 minute. It's one of these that it feels like eternity when you're watching it, but it progressed at a pretty rapid pace.
Can you talk a little bit, I mean, the last few weeks, if not days, here in the city of Buffalo, there have been a number of shootings, a number of stabbings. As, you know, newly appointed police commissioner, what's your plan moving forward? It's the summertime, a lot of people are out and about, we see this uptick. What's your plan moving forward?
Right, so we were, going to have probably a whole separate conference, news conference, just to discuss the uptick in violence. But it's been a little alarming for me because even in the past week, it's been markedly different from my first 2 weeks on the job. So clearly there is something afoot. What I will say on the incidents of violence, they appear random. There seems to be a lot of one-offs as opposed to a connection or gang activity. But certainly we are sitting down and developing summer plans to address this, what is becoming problematic very early in the summer season.
But certainly 2 officer-involved incidents within 4 days that you're dealing with as new commissioner. What concerns do you have just seeing the video that we saw today that was released regarding the incident Saturday, and then as you learn the details today of what's unfolding?
I mean, I think I can't say enough of just how dangerous the job is, and I just can't, I think that it goes to, as an officer, you can never be complacent or just assume a call is what you're getting, it's going to be straightforward, and I don't think that occurred at all here today. I think that there was a concealed weapon, and they were in a tight space, and I've personally been involved in incidents like that did not have a positive outcome. So I think that we're very fortunate that that the outcome was not more serious than it is.
Do you know anything more about the handgun or the concealed
No,
weapon?
I do not. Not at this time.
And also, were there prior calls? Was there any kind of indication of something before?
I need to get that to you. I don't have that offhand. There is a call associated with the house, is my understanding, but in terms of whether there have been prior domestic calls, I don't know.
Have you had a chance to review any of the body cam video? I know this is only several hours old, but have you had a chance to review? And if you have, what is your reaction to what you saw?
The officers are very lucky. So, thank you guys.
How quickly were they able to get that to
How-
ECMC? We could hear it on the
How quickly what?
Were they able to get the officer from the scene to the hospital?
That I honestly don't know. I mean, I know that they made every effort to transport him as expeditiously as possible, certainly. Thank you. Thank you
Commissioner, if
all.
we could just